All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High and His only begotten Son. Call Halayim La Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, root and teach well. Wa Barakathum to the hopeful elect. All right, today through the Spirit, I want to go into a video entitled Optimistic through tribulation. Being optimistic through tribulation, which meaning that Yahweh Shai is testing you so he can deliver you out of the hell that you're going through. You see? And also you understand that it's a lesson out of whatever situation the Lord is bringing you through, so you're not in a spirit of woe is me all the time. Speaking myself first and foremost, we got to be in that spirit of understanding that the Lord is building us up. And within Yahweh Shai building us up, we're going to be in some very uncomfortable, compromising situations where stuff isn't going to go our way. But we got to know that the Lord is simply just building us up. He's building us up, and he's teaching us lessons within that. Right? And also, sometimes the Lord just make you have more faith. Because in order for your faith to grow, you got to go through situations where you got to have patience. Because when you're waiting on something, that means that you have an outcome, you have a certain outcome in mind. That means you have salvation on your mind, being delivered out of whatever tribulation you're in, because you're enduring the tribulation, thinking that a different outcome can happen, which that takes faith. So in order to build up your faith, we're going to go through all types of situations where we got to have patience, long suffering. You see, stuff ain't going to go your way all the time. You're going to have to let certain things go that you may have a deep emotion towards. Something might be holding you back. Or the Lord might be making you just harder in the spirit, roughening you up. What comes to mind is what Ezekiel, when Yahweh Shai, it says he smote his rib, the delight of his eye. I believe that's how it quotes it in Ezekiel. And then he said, "You don't to weep not for her." And then he even spoke. The Lord spoke to Jeremiah. Revealed to Jeremiah, don't have children. Don't get all invested, because the Lord's going to jack Israel up, the southern kingdom. You see? So within those situations, a lot of those are meant to just harden you up. Even Job, hey, gird up thyself as a man, I demand of thee. I believe that's in Job 38. And it's quote, the Lord said it a couple of times. I think Job 43 too as well. You see? The Lord was speaking to Job, telling him to gird up thyself as a man, I demanded of thee. So a lot of times when we're catching hell is to strengthen our spirit up, and it's also to teach us some type of lesson. That's what the Elder Ayala, the elder in our camp out here in Dallas, he went into it like even Elder Yashwamba says it all the time. Make sure to learn your lessons through the hell. When you're catching hell, it's always a lesson out of it, something the Lord trying to show you or teach you, or it could be the Lord trying to make you forsake something. Right? So without further ado, let's get into some precepts. This is Isaiah 59 and verse 1. It says, "Behold, Yahweh Shai's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither is there heavy that it cannot hear." Right? But that's only gonna that applies whenever you actually call on the names in the tribulation, when you actually praying to the Lord. Because prayer means to earnestly beg. So you gotta actually be begging the Lord to deliver us out of these situations. You gotta actually beg the Lord for help from on high. You can't just, you gotta actually beg him. You see? That's why you have precepts like John 14 chapter. If you shall ask anything in my name, that will I do, the Father may be glorified. You gotta ask in the true names of the Lord. Then you have precepts like Joel, the 2nd chapter. Speaks about the elect shall call upon the names, the remnant. You see? And be delivered. So you have to call on the true names in full faith. But it says the Lord's hands is not shortened. Let's get that word shortened. That word is quatazar, right? It says to be short, to be impatient, to be vexed, right? And let's go down here. I want to go to the Browns. Let's see here. Yeah, let's get it right here. And let's see where it says for Isaiah 59. And we're going to read this definition down here. Isaiah 59. Where is it at? Okay. Bear with me here. I'm trying to look in through it. It's kind of small on this phone. Where is Isaiah 59 at? Okay. 50. Where's 59? Here we go. Okay. So it's over here. It says to be short, to come short of, right? And the Lord, you can't put the Lord in a box. You see, Yahweh Shem Shai is not, in a box. The Lord, every tribulation that we go through, Yahweh Shem Shai is the one that placed you into that tribulation to test you and ultimately to try you, to build you up. It's not to destroy you. You see, because if it was to destroy you, it would have already done it by now. You see? The Lord has it set up to where you have that conscience because the Lord is working you out through the hell. You see? So we got to have that mindset whenever we're catching hell. Knowing that it's either that you have being optimistic, knowing that the Lord will deliver you eventually, and also to try and find that lesson. So, the Lord teaching me something, the Lord trying to get me to examine something or check something. Not, damn, woe is me. The Lord ain't dealing with me no more. Now you gotta have a mindset of understanding that they being optimistic. Because the Lord is dealing with his elect. You see, as sons. So dad gonna be hard on that son and whoop his ass. You see? And you, as a son, you might not always understand why your dad's so hard on you sometimes, or he's giving you hell. But sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need somebody to come at you hard because, you're getting weak or you're getting soft. You see? That's why in certain fight camps with fighters, that's a good example. Jake relate to fighters. Whenever fighters are in certain camps, they gotta get in there and spar with some guys that's some rough, strong, physical MFers, man. So you can be able to, you might be fighting against a guy that's real physical. So you got to have your sparring partners kind of emulate what you finna go through. So the Lord putting us through them trials too. How you going through some hell? You see? So you can be ready for that tribulation. But it says that it cannot save. Let's get that word save. It says Yeshai. Okay, it says to be saved, to be delivered, to be liberated, to be saved. Saved from moral troubles. You see? Let's get that word moral. It says ethical, virtuous. It says concerned the principles of right and wrong. It says behavior and the goodness or badness of humans. It says holding or manifesting high principles. So virtue. You see? Because you're going to go through that in this truth. Where you're going to get your morals and your character tested. You see? Let me do this real quick. Right? Now let's get this next precept. Okay? Let's go here. What was I just looking at? That just threw me off. I want to get this Romans, what's that scripture? Romans 8. Romans 8 and verse 28. It says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh Shem Shai. How do you love Yahweh Shem Shai? If you love me, keep my commandments. You're going to do what the Lord said. If you love me, feed my sheep. You're going to actually show that charity towards the brethren, the body. You're going to go, if you have the spirit to do so, you're going to be at the camp. You're going to be doing lessons out of love for the Lord's elect, the sheep. You're going to be living your lifestyle in a manner that, make it to where you're profitable to the ministry for the sake of the body. It says to them who are called according to his purpose. So those who are set up to be of the elect, set up to forward the Lord's will. You see? But it says all things work together. I want to get that word good. All right, it says Strong's G17, agathos. It says of good constitution or nature, useful. So it says salutary, right? It says useful. Why? Because the Lord teaches you lessons out of hell sometimes. Sometimes you catch a hell to learn a lesson. You see, or sometimes you can be catching hell just to harden you up. So that way you see 100 people dying by your side. Your spirit is not getting all affected by it. You're able to bear it. You have to forsake various things. You got to be on the side of the road. You know, because the Revelation 13 and 16 is mandated, and you just out there walking by faith. You might be in a situation where you have to travel. You like in the wilderness for a while, so on and so forth. Whatever the Lord has for our trials, we know it's going to be a tribulation. You might be thrown into a EMA camp. You see, but it's all for our own good, because that's setting you up to be delivered. Because when the Lord puts us in a situation where we're in straits, then that shows that that's going to show his power when he delivers. So the Lord likes to be put us in situations where he can deliver and come through and show his saving power, right? It's going to show how powerful he is when he can deliver us out of that situation. So that's the mindset. That's a mindset to understanding that it all works for our own good. You see? Now I want to get this right here. We're going to get a couple more, and I got to start slaving, man. Slavery. Okay, let's get here. I like this is one of my favorite precepts. This is Psalms 119. Let me get verse 68 and 71. It says, 67, before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word. Before the Lord put you through that hell to teach you. You know, when you go in the wrong direction, the Lord will chasten you. And some things, some stuff that you're going through, it's going to be hard. It's going to take the Lord a while to purge it out, because that's something that the Lord got to purge out of you. Certain things that you might be dealing with, certain lusts or certain things, the Lord going to purge it out of you. So he going to put you through hell until you stop doing it. You see? So that's what that affliction comes into play. And also some stuff you might have to forsake. You might be getting too into certain things to where it's getting in the way of the Lord. You love that just as much as you love the Lord, or more, like something like that. And Lord, you got to let this woman go, or you got to let this job situation go. You see, it says, Psalms 19 and 71, it says, it is good for me that I've been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. That's how we're going to learn. That's how it's meant to build us up, the hell. So we got to have that optimistic mindset when we're catching hell, that positive mindset, not a mindset of, oh, woe is me. You see, count it joy, because we're suffering for the sake of this ministry and for Yahweh Shai, versus these people in the world just suffering because they being demons. You see, but anyways, Lord willing, this lesson edified. I like to end it all by saying, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Radash, the Barnes to the Apostles, Elders, Great Millstone, Root Teach Well. Next time, call my Shalom.